everyone, I am Via B. Carson. In this video, I will discuss the sample of supporting activities. First student learning outcome is that students can organize information from secondary sources as basis of the research topic. Supporting students' activities. First is the practice of differentiating source materials and one's opinion, which is you are to differentiate facts and opinions. Facts can be used as an evidence or resources as it presents information in an objective manner. However, opinion is your own perspective or critique on how you view things. Second is the reading of articles and formulating an original paragraph from quotes, paraphrases, and summaries in order to have a strong evidence as well as to avoid plagiarism. The third one is the writing of essays to develop the topic. It must have an introduction which contains the background information. Next is the body, include the main points that discusses the topic. And the last one is the conclusion or the summarization of the whole topic. The third one is integrating bibliographic entries in appropriate format. Example, if you are using a reference from the book, you must first write the last name of the author, name initial, then the title of the book, edition, place, publisher, and lastly the year. The second student learning outcome is that students apply principles of logical thinking and persuasive argument in writing. Supporting students' activities. First is forming opinions about the topic. So students learn to expand their ideas about the topic and has the freedom to criticize and question it based on their own perspective. Second is researching and writing about a variety of perspectives through gathering of information that is useful for the topic. Third is adapting style to identified audience, such as determine specific audience, consider what is in their mind, and to make adjustments or any ways to connect with them. Lastly is employing clear argument in writing. It is very important to employ clear argument in writing in order to have a clarity of thoughts and articulate the ideas appropriately. The third student learning outcome is that students write multiple page essays complying with the standard format and style. Supporting student activities. First is analyzing and evaluating text. Learning how to analyze and critically evaluate argument improves students' capacity to develop a framework to advance their point of view and test their arguments. Next is writing about a variety of perspectives on single topic. Exploring the topic or expanding it through using the different perspective and objectives. Using a multiple perspective enables students to see the whole picture and distinguish the cause, the problem, and discover solution. Another is adapting tone and style to address one's audience, or use of adjustments towards your desired audience. Example is the language. In addition is reviewing grammar and essays format in reading. It is very important to determine the possible errors in the grammar and essay format. And lastly is holding group discussion about various topics. It helps students to understand the concept deeply where they can share knowledge with each other, as well as it helps to improve their communication skills.
Hello, good day everyone. This is Deverly De Castro from DPED 2A, and today I will discuss to you the phases of outcome assessment in the instructional cycle. So let us study the cycle. First, we have the institutional vision and mission equals program goals, followed by subject objectives, desired student learning outcomes to diagnostic assessment, deciding on lesson focused, supporting student activities, formative assessment of outcomes, review or reteach, mastery learning, and lastly, summative assessment of outcomes. So, but before that, let us discuss first the assessment. So, what is assessment? You know, assessment is very important in creating a learner-centered institution because it is a term that refers to the wide variety of methods or tools that educators use to evaluate, measure, and document the academic readiness, learning progress, skill acquisition, or educational needs of the student. In other words, assessment is serve as a tool to know the strength and weakness of the students. The first phase of outcome assessment in the instructional cycle is the institutional mission and vision. Institutional mission provide various instituencies, students, faculties, legislators, or etc. with institutions, educational goals and guidance concerning the achievement of these goals. So for example, in CMU, as an institution, we have the vision and mission. Other example is the DepEd mission, to protect and promote the right of every Filipino to quality, equitable, culture-based, and complete basic education where administrator and staff stay ward an institution, ensure and enabling to support the environment for effective learning to happen. Family, community, and other stakeholders are actively engaged and shared responsibility for developing lifelong learners. So that is an example of mission, stating or providing the various constituencies like student, faculty, and etc. They have that goals or their mission as an institution, as part of the institution. Followed by the vision, institutional vision. In institutional vision, it is a statement focuses on tomorrow and what organization wants to ultimately become. So for example, the CMU vision. A leading ASEAN university actively committed to the total development of people for the globally sustainable environment and a humane society. As what you observe, it focuses on tomorrow, or it focuses on the ultimate goal niya as an institution. So that is the vision. Now, can you differentiate between vision and mission? Okay, it's good. So phase number 2. Phase number 2 is what we call the program goals. Program goals are broad statement of the kinds of learning we hope student will achieve. They describe learning outcomes and concept, or what you want student to learn as a teacher. So in general term, for example, clear communication, problem solving, skills, and etc. In other words, program goals is an ultimate goal that the student achieve to apply in the future. The third phase is the subject objective. Subject objectives are brief statements that describe what student will be expected to learn by the end of the school year, course, the end of the unit, project, or at the end of the class period. So we have an example in the presentation. So take a look at the example. So this course is designed to prepare you for professional writing experiences. By the end of the course, you should be able to, number 1, identify the primary and secondary audience of a text, craft texts which take into consideration the needs of your primary audience, Write in an array of genera for a variety of purposes. Identify different historical strategies and appeals in the writing of others, and so on. So, di bali, ang subject objective is your target na mag-gain at the end of the session or at the end of, as I've mentioned late ganina, na at the end of the lesson, project, class period, course, mo na siya ang target nimo, tibali. So that is the subject objective. Phase 4 is the desired student learning outcomes. Learning outcomes are statements that describe significant and essential learning that learners have achieved and can reliably demonstrate at the end of the course or program. So in other words, learning outcomes identify what the learner will know and be able to do by the end of the course or program. For example, a learner will have demonstrated the ability to make engine repairs on a variety of automobiles. In the above statement, the ability to make engine repairs implies that person has the requisite knowledge to do so. So, and in other words, it is an application of the knowledge you have learned as a student in the course. So, it is an application. So, next, phase number 5 is the diagnostic assessment. Diagnostic assessment. It is a type of assessment which examines what student knows and can do prior to the learning program being implemented. Assessment of student skills and knowledge upon entry to the program provides a baselines against which to assess progress. So for example, baseline test, journal, performance task, or word splash that assess a learner's current knowledge, base, or current views on a topic issue to be studied in the course. This method allows the instructor and student to chart their learning progress by comparing the pre and post-test results. So, it is the test between the students. It is to test the student's strengths and weaknesses. The 6th phase is the deciding on lesson focus. The first of a gradual release of responsibility model is the focused lesson. This is the time when the teacher is demonstrating, modeling, and sharing his or her thinking with the students. Although this segment may be brief, like 5 to 15 minutes, but it is a powerful segment. In deciding your lesson, you should have to have your subject and standard. Your first decision in establishing a focus for your institutional design project is to narrow your lesson scope to a grade level, subject, and specific college and career readiness standard. College and career readiness standard or standards. To narrow your focus, you must first decide your subject and standard. So as a teacher, we should be mindful of our scope. In making this decision, keep in mind you are designing a lesson that will take a learner approximately 15 to 30 minutes to complete. This lesson duration is a very important design consideration that affects the focus and scope of your lesson. In practical terms, think long and hard about how much of the subject matter you can effectively and efficiently cover in 15 to 30 minutes. Therefore, it is very important to make the focus on your lesson small when you are selecting from the roster of standard or topic. Phase number 7, the supporting student activities. In supporting student activities, students should apply the principle of logical thinking and persuasive argument in writing. As a teacher, we have to facilitate in the student informing their opinions about the topic. Let them research and write about variety of perspective, and let them adopt the style of identified audience and employ them a clear argument in writing. As a teacher, our support is a must for our students. Let our students come out of their shell and develop and explore things to grow. Phase 8 is a formative assessment outcomes. Formative assessment refers to the wide variety of methods that teacher use to conduct in-process evaluations of student comprehension, learning needs, and academic progress during a lesson, unit, or course. For example, metacognition table at the end of class. Each student answered the following question presented to them on an index cards. Questions are: what did we do in class? Why did we do it? What did I learn today? How can I apply it? What question do I have about it? Phase 9. Phase 9 is the review and reteach. It is to examine or assess something formally with a possibility or intention of instituting change if necessary. So as you remember, sa atong high school days, even now, in college, before we move on sa next unit, naatay ginatawag na review. Mag-review ta if na-understood na ba nato ayo and na-absorb na ba nato og maayo ang topic. And then, mag-assess na mahitabo nga assessment, dayon makita na kung asa dapit ang wala na sabtan o wala na sabtan. Therefore, naada ayoy reteach. Reteach na mahitabo to explain further para masabtan, para tanan makaproceed na dayon sa next chapter. After the phase 9, let's proceed to phase number 10, the mastery learning. Mastery learning is a method of instruction where the focus is on the role of feedback in learning. Furthermore, mastery learning refers to a category of instructional methods which establishes a level of performance that all students must master before moving on the next unit, according to Slavin 1987. So, mastery of learning. So, mastery, from the word itself, mastery, learning. So, i-master og ayo ang topic or ang course before mag-proceed og lain nga chapter. In order para ma-retain sa mind og heart sa student and then ma-apply in the real life. Last but not the least, the phase number 11, the summative assessment of outcomes. Summative assessment or summative evaluation refers to the assessment of participants where the focus is on the outcome of a program. This contrasts with the formative assessment, which summarizes the participants' development at a particular time. So, lastly, the evaluation time. So, evaluation, assessing. So, for example, essay, report, portfolio, dissertation, presentation. So, kabantay mo, at the end of our unit, na din sa ubos, dahil naka-follow up dayon as kanang pa-end na nga activity na dayon tay assessment or mga ising ansiran dayon maghimo og mga portfolio para ma-assess og nasabta na ba jud or wala. Let me recap the outcome assessment phases in instructional cycle. So number 1, we have phase 1, institutional mission and vision. Phase 2, program goals. Phase 3, subject objectives. Phase 4, we have desired student learning outcomes. Phase 5, diagnostic assessment. Phase 6, deciding on lesson focus. Phase 7, supporting student activities. Phase 8, formative assessment. Phase 9, review, reteach. Phase 10, mastery learning. Phase 11, summative assessment. So that ends our report. Thank you and God bless everyone.